Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back for another installment of readings from Jamie Sam's book entitled The 13 Original Clan Mothers. And this is for the 11th moon cycle, the new moon in the month of November. This year, 2019, it falls in the month of October. I believe it's going to be on October 27th or 28th. So as you see from my setup this month, I have a little elephant candle that I lit for the first time. I got this as a gift a long time ago from my beloved friend Susan. Thank you, Susan. And then I have my little rose quartz crystal, and I found a little feather beside it just before I started the reading, so I thought I'd include that little gift from the angels. So I'm going to do a little bit of space clearing with my tingsha. So all right, so I'm going to place it here. If you don't know what a tingsha is, there it is. It's used in Reiki and just for space clearing. So I just felt like I wanted to include it in the setup for my video. All right, so for the 11th moon cycle, the clan mother of the 11th moon cycle is Walks Tall Woman. So here's the poem first by Jamie Sams. You walk in beauty, mother, allowing all to see the glory of great mystery that sets your spirit free. Guided by the bliss inside you, walking it through your deeds, never needing another's approval, your heart's truth takes the lead. With focus and directness, you teach me how to walk, balancing thought and action instead of misusing talk. I stand straight in your presence. I hold my head up high, with my feet rooted in Mother Earth, my arms embracing Father Sky. So beautiful. Okay, so here's the reading. I hope you're sitting comfortably. Maybe you have your favorite beverage. If not, you can pause it and get something. I'm just going to put my feet up. I have my beverage here if I need it, when I need it. All right, so let's get started. Walks Tall Woman is the clan mother of November's moon cycle, who teaches us how to walk our talk. Her cycle of truth is walking the truth and is connected to the color white. Through the color white, we learn magnetism and how to use authority and will properly. Walks Tall Woman shows the children of Earth how to lead through example instead of insisting that others follow the leader. This clan mother teaches us how to change life situations through taking action ourselves, not depending on others to do it for us. Walks Tall Woman teaches us how to be proud of our accomplishments through self-esteem, not self-importance. She shows us that the more we refine our skills, the happier we are with ourselves. Walks Tall Woman understands that actions always speak louder than words, and that when we are living examples of our philosophies, we are walking our personal truths. When we walk with truth, there is no need to fear what others think of us. Reputation is based upon integrity and inner knowing, not on the opinions of others, who may be jealous or insecure about themselves. Walks Tall Woman teaches us that it is through our relationship to the great mystery and to life that we know and honor ourselves and our spirits. This 11th clan mother is the guardian of leadership and the keeper of new pathways. She shows us the value of leading through example, being our personal best, and exploring all our options, and the importance of innovation. If there is a more appropriate or more efficient way to do something, Walk's Tall Woman will apply those new ideas to her earth walk to see if the new way will assist her in walking her truth. Through this medicine, she has earned the right to be the mother of innovation. This type of innovation does not destroy the traditions of the past, but rather adds new truths to those traditions, giving the ancient ways of the ancestors new growth potential. The 11th clan mother is also the mother of perseverance and stamina, who teaches us the value of health. The needs of our physical bodies and the use of exercise to make them strong are part of her teaching. Walking tall and in truth is exemplified by our ability to be graceful and to find the point of gravity in the human form. To do this, we must use the natural flexibility of the human body. Walk's Tall Woman shows us that we must be flexible enough to allow others to follow their paths. A healthy mind will support the body's health. A mind riddled with half-truths and negativity can thwart the body to the point where disease is created. Walk's Tall Woman shows us how to honor the body's needs by balancing physical activity, proper attitudes, good eating and sleeping habits, and hygiene. Walk's Tall Woman also teaches us that we can persevere, meeting our goals when the body is healthy. Stamina comes from treating the body with care. To use persistence in a proper way, we are taught how to be tenacious using all our gifts of health, attitude, self-reflection, and spirit to meet challenges head-on. Walk's Tall shows us how to keep our eyes on the goal, our feet on the path, and the truth in our hearts, never waiting for another to do it for us. Leading through example by being personally responsible in thought, action, and deed is the way we find the medicine of walking our talk. Our challenges are to be willing to drop our fears of taking action and to balance our work activities with rest, relaxation, and retreat. The 3 R's, redefined: rest, relaxation, retreat. Besides work, right? Balance. All right, now here's the second part of the reading, entitled Scouting the Trail of Truth. Walk's Tall Woman could hear the sound of wind rushing past her ears and the thundering of her heart filling her whole body. She saw the passing blur of green as she ran across the meadow to the forest's edge. Entering the forest, she slowed her pace a bit, lithely dodging the brambles without breaking a twig or disturbing the undergrowth. Swiftly and silently she traversed the deep woodlands, pushing toward her goal. The chirping of the winged ones suddenly stopped, and Walk's Tall came to a soundless but abrupt halt. When her heart slowed its drum-shattering rhythm, she could hear the faint, stealthful sounds of a large creature being coming from somewhere near her. Cautiously she turned, raising her head to look into the treetops. Her gaze was met by piercing golden eyes. The great cat was perched, poised, and ready to jump from the stout limb of sycamore. Waxtall Woman mustered the courage she needed to gaze back into those unwavering eyes, showing her natural boldness even when she was confronted with mountain lion's prowess. For reasons unknown to Waxtall, Puma simply sat on the branch and showed no further interest in the woman below. The mountain lion began licking her paws and preening. Waxtall was not going to wait to see what would happen next. She bolted through the glen and continued her journey with great haste. Soon she had once again hit her stride, allowing her body to find its natural balance and center of gravity. Never once did she stumble or displace a twig as her feet seemingly flew across the floor of the primeval forest. She cut through the outlying scrub and made her way to a path strewn with wild violets and strawberries that ran along the edge of the woods by a shallow river. Waxtall Woman took the river in 3 leaps, sending sprays of water flying in every direction as she lithely bounded up the opposite shore covered with goldenrod and red clover. The clan mother knew that she was hitting the home stretch and poured all her strength into her powerful legs. She ran and ran, crossing the corner of a prairie filled with wild golden grains, bounding up the last hill. The incline was difficult to traverse, but the mother of perseverance met the challenge by changing her strides, breathing more deeply despite the ache in her chest, pushing her body to adjust to the new rhythms she had created on the home stretch. When Waxtall Woman reached the summit, she was greeted by the astonished faces of the people of the Water Clan that she had wintered with. Grandfather's son then passed a quarter of his journey across the Sky Nation before another runner appeared. This was a summer game of constructive competition and comradeship, and the clan mother had used the race to teach the Water Clan many other lessons about stamina and perseverance. That night, around the communal fire with stars twinkling and bellies full from feasting, Waxtall Woman took the opportunity to speak. Because she was known as a woman of few words, the members of the Water Clan listened intensely to her. Waxtall Woman told them about the value of finding alternate paths through the forest, new ways of approaching their daily tasks, and how she was able to win the race because she had scouted the trail, making a new, shorter route to use during the foot race. Now that the warming and planting moons had passed, she offered to teach the humans of the Water Clan how she could move through any terrain without disturbing as much as a leaf. The hunters and trackers had been unsure of letting a woman teach them the skills they were usually taught by other males. But the clan mother had won the foot race, and therefore had won the bet that she could beat all the men who entered the contest. The amazed men began to look at Waxtall Woman in a new way. Some were even happy that she could teach them new skills that would surely stand them in good stead at the harvest festival, when all the clans of their tribe gathered to return thanks for the abundant harvest. Waxtall Woman worked with the men of the Water Clan all through the summer moons. They spent time watching her each day, learning new skills as she showed them how to make the most of the actions they set in motion. The clan mother showed the men how antelope, when hunted on the plains, used grace and balance to bound through tall grasses. Her students practiced on the balls of their feet to create a spring in their steps and change their running gaits. Together, using Antelope's medicine of grace, readiness, and taking action, they practiced walking the length of fallen logs that would roll, making the students adjust their balance every few feet. The WaterClan men found the body's center of gravity in their hips and learned to use their inner vision to make their bodies lighter by seeing themselves as antelope who could spring forward, seemingly fly through the air, and land lightly without a sound. Walkstall woman continued the training, teaching the arts of changing stride, using the intent to propel the body, understanding the body's rhythms in motion, and scouting. Never once did the clan mother try to show that she was superior to the men. She was always encouraging and supportive in her teaching role, ensuring that other men did not belittle the ones who were bold enough to try a new skill for the first time. Walkstall woman taught the whole clan how action counts double when one is honing new skills. Even the smallest children were imitating their elders by finding new ways to assist in the chores that were necessary to keep camp life moving smoothly. The mother of innovation was pleased that the youngsters had scouted new ways to be productive, as well as finding new games that included all of the children. The women were elated that their men came back to the lodges each sunset, smiling and feeling self-assured about the accomplishments made during each sun. With every member of the clan making ready for the gathering and the competitions, only Walkstall woman noticed that the usual gossip and petty arguments had stopped. When everyone was productive, they were happy and did not have the desire or the time to waste on idle chatter. Walkstall woman had worked hard preparing the WaterClan for the games to be held at the tribe's gathering. The mother of perseverance's talents paid off when the WaterClan took the lead, counting coup on the other astonished clans of their nation. For her efforts, the men of the WaterClan presented the clan mother with a horse. Walkstall was deeply touched by the gesture because horses were rare in those times. Most clans and tribes had a dozen or so horses for more than 100 human beings, with most possessions and packs being carried by their faithful dogs. The clan mother decided to accept the gift by speaking a few words about the medicine of horse. She explained to the WaterClan that the power of horse's medicine was in the proper use of gifts, talents, and abilities. Horse taught two-leggeds to balance the gifts of the tangible and intangible worlds. Like horse, two-leggeds were being taught to be of the earth and to be at one with the wind. When the two worlds came together, balance was attained, allowing humans to see the beauty of spirit living and working through their physical forms. In that balance, physical and spiritual power could be used. Horse taught how to use will, endurance, authority, and talents in a proper manner without abuse or misuse. Walkstall woman thanked the men of the clan for their gift and returned thanks to the Great Mystery for their combined successes and all of the new skills they had attained. She was particularly grateful for the letting go of the fear of taking action and learning new skills that could have robbed them of their victories at the games. The moon of red leaves followed, bringing many new lessons to the Water Clan. After the harvest and gathering of wild foods from the forest, the clan prepared for the coming winter. The spirit of victory was still keeping the clan productive, but the reminders of those innovative ways of accomplishing tasks still fresh in their minds. But Walk's tall woman sensed an unsettling change. The subtle shift was not apparent to the members of her clan, but the guardian of leadership was very aware that something was amiss. The situation needed to become clearer before the proper solution could be applied. So Walk's tall woman watched and waited, continuing her own activities, but not speaking until the time was appropriate. The brilliant colors of sunset were painted on the leaves by Mother Nature, carrying with them the first frosts that signaled the approach of winter. Walk's tall woman walked to the forest to be alone and to ponder the ways she could help the children of Earth through the changes that could rob them of having the right attitudes toward life. The bickering had begun again among the women, and the men were disgruntled. Spats had replaced the former comradeship of the yellow moons of summer between the children. Walk's tall woman lay her body down on a bed of bright fallen leaves and allowed grandfather's sun's light to warm her skin. This rare time of inactivity and reflection took her into a state of heightened awareness, where she was riding horse through a dreamtime landscape on the open plains. Faster and faster they galloped as her body became a living extension of her steed. Walk's tall woman's head was bent forward, her hair mingling with the mane of her four-legged companion, named Runs with the Winds. Together they rode through the steppes of golden windswept grasses as she urged the stallion forward with a slight pressure from her knees. The forests of the foothills drew closer as she melded her spirit with the stallion's powerful rhythms and strides. Her perceptions changed, and she saw through Runs with the Wind's eyes. The shape-shifting was complete as Walk's tall woman melded with her galloping companion, feeling the power of four legs thundering across the distance, closing in on the foothills. A surge of energy flowed through her body as together they approached the wooded hills. Runs with the Winds came to a halt among the trees of the forest, and the magical spell was broken as Walk's tall woman's perceptions returned to her human form. The exuberance and overwhelming feeling of intense power still coursed through her veins as she dismounted. When she tethered the stallion to graze, she felt as if she were being watched. Walk's tall woman followed her feelings and gazed up into the branches of a sturdy oak just in time to see Mountain Lion Pounce coming to rest gracefully at her feet. Quickly she looked toward her stallion, finding him uninterested in the great cat. She was startled by the horse's behavior, but in the dream time there was no threat between creatures, so she relaxed. Mountain Lion spoke and caught her by surprise. Mother, you have walked with me since the beginning of your physical life, but it is only now that you have slowed down enough for me to be able to speak to you. Have you forgotten my medicine of leading through example? Walk's tall woman was stunned and speechless for a moment. What do you mean, Puma? I walk in balance and always allow my actions to speak for my intentions. Have I forgotten to perform some duty or to take some action that would show others the integrity of my walk? No, Mother, you have been a fine example to your children. You have taken the actions needed. You have always been compassionate, caring, and forthright. You have showed your children new paths and innovative ways of correcting wrong attitudes and how to follow their heart's desires. But you have not balanced action with the strength of inaction. You have been so busy doing, you have forgotten to take the time you need to reflect and regroup your thoughts, dreams, and energy. This is the first time during your earth walk that you have rested and released enough of your need to be a perfect example, to let down the barriers that keep you from being human. Walkstall woman sat on the ground in stunned silence, realizing that Mountain Lion was right. The tears she had been holding for all the winters of her human life began to flow, and sobs racked her body until she could utter no sound, trying to get her breath. The multitude of sorrow she had felt when she was frustrated or hurt by the actions of others had been buried in the snows of her frozen heart. Walkstall woman was ready to release the illusion that she needed to be superhuman. In her efforts to be an impeccable example, she had masked her human needs with action. The drive and ambition to be her personal best had led her down a lonely trail that insisted she never show her feelings. She had placed all of her spiritual experience outside of herself, never allowing time out for the lessons to be felt and integrated as a part of her humanness. When she finally caught her breath and the tears had been exhausted, Mountain Lion continued. Leading through example is a beauty trail, Mother. If you are being an example to other human beings, it is necessary to show them that being human is not to be judged as having weaknesses. Allowing the tears to flow is the first step in transformation. Making mistakes is the way that skills are honed to precision. You have mastered perseverance. You have mastered innovation. You have mastered taking action. Now it is time you make the commitment to allow yourself to become a female, feeling, human being. That vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Buried deep inside of you is the truth you have feared. You felt that if you slowed down and took a retreat when you needed it, the truth would be able to catch up with you. That truth is that you are human. Puma waited a moment for her words to reach the clan mother's heart before she continued. You have developed your stamina, your excellence, your ability to comfort others, but you are frightened to death of being comforted yourself. When you can allow yourself to show vulnerability by trusting another, you will have finally learned to trust yourself. When you push yourself beyond your endurance, running from the truth of your humanness, the signal you send to the world is not the one you think you are sending. You tell others that you are untouchable when you keep moving from early morning to late at night. You fear Tiowe, the stillness, because you are afraid to confront the fears and criticism of your shadow. That shadow self would love to tell you that you are not worthy of rest, pleasure, or a life that includes true friends who respect your humanness and a supportive mate who will love you for who you are, not the deeds you accomplish. Walk's tall woman felt the tears of transformation run like slow-moving, lazy rivers down her cheeks. The truth had taken root in her heart, and the impregnated seed of change had been planted in her womb. It would gestate until it was time in the future for the clan mother to give birth to her new, more vulnerable self. She quietly sat and reflected on the words Mountain Lion had spoken before she asked the question. How can I be an example to other women, Mountain Lion, when I have to learn these lessons for myself? You are the mother of innovation, Walk's tall woman. In the present world of time, woman has come to take the role of nurturing others. A balance must be found. The Earth Mother is ready and willing to nurture her daughters, but her daughters must insist on taking the time they need to receive that nurturance themselves. You have taught your human children that the place of gravity in the human form is in the pelvis. For men, that space is where their testicles were housed before puberty. For females, that space is the womb. As mothers of the creative force, women must understand their role of nurturing the seeds of all of tomorrow's dreams for the planetary family, as well as birthing new generations of children. To accomplish this task, every woman must commit to herself to take the time she needs to retreat during her menstrual flow when her womb is open to the light. This special moon time is when the Earth Mother feeds all women if they are willing to spend 3 suns and sleeps during their flows in total silence, becoming the receptive vessels of love created by the great mystery. During the other days of their flows, they can be with their sisters, sharing experiences, handcrafts, and inner thoughts. During their moon times, women have the power to claim any available energy in their midst because their wombs are open to receive. This is one new tradition that you can start for the human tribe that will also serve you in discovering your own humanness. Walk's tall woman saw the possibilities of creating a new woman's tradition that would allow all women to find balance. She understood that some of the bickering was probably caused from exhaustion, and that because women did not take the time to be refueled with the Earth Mother's loving energy, they were often bound by old, cranky, and petty habits that took root in the moments when they were overtired. A broad vista of opportunity spread before the clan mother in her dream. The dream time always seemed to provide parallel ways to change old and limiting habits, and Walk's tall woman was now still enough to access those opportunities. As the mother of persistence returned from her realizations, Mountain Lion spoke to her again. There has never been a time when you showed mercy toward yourself, Walk's tall woman. You have enjoyed being active and have masked your shadow well. The shadow has shown you no mercy by driving you beyond all that is humanly possible. You have made promises that have actually forced you into the shadow's keeping. You have not abused your leadership ability by hurting others, but you have abused the trust other women placed in you as a role model. You have set an example that would break the back of any beast of burden. Donkey carries his medicine of shouldering his load of responsibility, but he also knows how to refuse and become stubborn when the burden is too much. There is great inner strength to be found in showing mercy to yourself and in allowing yourself to be an example to other women by showing them that all humans are worthy of rest and pleasure. The example you set through making time for your needs will liberate you and every other woman who looks to you for guidance. The excuse that you do not have the time or the space to be nurtured will harm more people than yourself, giving the shadow the upper hand. Mountain Lion waited for Walk's Tall Woman to take in her words before she continued. Do you remember the day you passed me in the forest, running like a prairie grass fire? The clan mother nodded in affirmation, and Mountain Lion spoke again. I was standing on a branch watching you as you cut through the bracken and undergrowth. I was not surprised because I had seen you scouting that trail earlier. I wondered if you would run from the totem who protected you, and sure enough, you did. The other runners would be a long time in catching up with you, but still you had to run on, making sure that you would outshine all others in an embarrassing, overachieving manner. You showed no mercy toward yourself or toward the dignity of your male counterparts. I licked my paws and showed you that you could slow down, but you were single-minded, and my example was lost on you. Skunk could teach you a lesson, Walk's Tall Woman, if you would take the time to listen. Skunk's medicine has to do with reputation and the ability to attract or to repel what you need in your life. You have been so worried about your reputation of taking action that you have attracted the unmerciful shadow self and have repelled the inner voice that cries out for you to take the rest you need. Like Skunk, the whole situation stinks, Mother. Walk's Tall Woman broke her seriousness and laughed at Mountain Lion's description of the smelly set of circumstances. The tension was relieved, and the clan mother forgot to berate herself for a moment and to blame herself for her overachieving drive. Walk's Tall Woman tried to shake off her shame as she made the firm decision to be merciful toward herself and thus give her sisters permission to be kind to themselves through her example. She asked Mountain Lion a final question she trusted would expel the heaviness in her chest that had caused her to breathe shallowly for many moons. I feel like taking a breath myself. I am tired of being my only support system and being afraid to trust and be vulnerable. Mountain Lion, when I find the merciful part of myself and take my retreats and times of silence, will you be my companion and ally? Mountain Lion stretched and yawned, then replied, I have always walked with you, Mother. You were just too busy to notice. You were afraid to be still and alone with yourself, so you could not hear my voice. Nothing will change in my devotion to you and to your spiritual growth. We are sisters and are bound together by the bonds that make all females kin. Grandmother Moon shows her full face to illuminate our hidden fears as well as our strengths. In the moontime cycle, we find our balance, confront our shadow selves, share our joys and sorrows, and then face the world as sisters of the heart. Walk's Tall Woman was deeply touched, and tears began to flow again as she was drawn from her dreamtime vision back to the tangible world by someone licking the real tears from her face. She opened her eyes and saw the physical embodiment of Mountain Lion, licking her cheeks and reassuring her that the vision had been real. The guardian of leadership placed her hand gently on Mountain Lion's neck and caressed her sister's soft fur. Mountain Lion's green gold eyes pierced Walk's Tall Woman's heart, and the final barrier came crashing down when the clan mother saw the softness and vulnerability of her own face mirrored in Mountain Lion's eyes. There was the face of the merciful self being comforted by a creature teacher of the wild. Mountain Lion placed a paw on Walk's Tall Woman's chest, forcing the breath the clan mother had been holding in apprehension out of her lungs. Mountain Lion did not let up until Walk's Tall Woman gasped. Then the giant cat moved to lie at the clan mother's side. Walk's Tall Woman took the deepest breath she remembered taking in many winters and felt the life force explode inside her, bringing a new sense of relaxed comfort to her weary, emotionally spent body. They lay side by side until the full face of Grandmother Moon rose high in the purple blanket of the Sky Nation. In the magnificent light of the full moon, a cloud changed form to show Walk's Tall Woman the seeds of transformation that her tears had planted in the tangible world. She had returned from the dream time to begin a new tradition for women that would serve all of her sisters until the end of time. The cloud person shape-shifted into the form of a Quetzal, reminding the Mother of Innovation that Quetzal carries the medicine of the totally free, uninhibited spirit who is willing to express all aspects of the self. If caught and caged, Quetzal dies. Walk's Tall Woman thought of the cage she had created for herself and how the shadow self had placed a stranglehold on her freedom to express her needs and to trust that others would understand her humanness. Humanness. I feel like saying humaneness all the time, but it's humanness. The cloud form of Quetzal also reminded her that it was time to lead other women through Quetzal's example. Quetzal is spelled Quetzal. In walking her talk, the clan mother would never again impose her own limitations or impossible expectations on another human being. The uninhibited freedom found in accepting her humanness without judgment would light Walk's Tall Woman's path. She had discovered the strength found in retreat and the wisdom of letting go. Mountain Lion stayed with her through the night and allowed the warmth and comfort of a true ally to be understood. When Grandfather's sun rose to shine his light on all of his children, Walk's Tall Woman went back to camp. She was greeted by all of the members of the Water Clan as if she had never been absent. They had not been concerned because she had only projected the invincible side of herself in their presence. The lesson stung but forced the clan mother to realize how many ways she had sabotaged herself. She had been too independent and aloof. During the next few suns, Waxtall woman called a council of women and was vulnerable enough to tell her story and let go of the former untouchable self. She was surprised by her sisters' tears of joy and relief, and their hugs of thanks shocked her into further realizations. Many were grateful for the new example she was setting. Others took her aside and gave her gifts they had made to celebrate her rite of passage. Some sisters were eager to share their fears that they could never live up to her former example, while others spoke of the resentment they had carried when the clan mother had been used by complaining husbands as an example to chastise them. Those days were very healing to all of the women of the Water Clan, creating new bonds of sisterhood that would continue. The Council of Women came together as one, as equals, in a circle, each having a single vote. Through unity, they decided how to run their moon lodges, assuring every woman of having her time for retreat. Each woman would cover the responsibilities of a friend while the other was on her moon. Grandmothers committed to watching the young, while aunts and sisters volunteered to cook and see to the fires. The Sisterhood of the Moon Lodge was formed during that long ago season of changing leaves, leaving a legacy to all women that would form bonds of undying trust throughout the coming worlds. Waxtall woman marveled at the changes in herself and the strength she found in the medicine of her sisters. In discovering herself, she had unwittingly gained a large family and support system. The mother of innovation understood that some new ways of living could create traditions that would serve all of humankind. She sang her song of gratitude to the Earth Mother and to Grandmother Moon, understanding for perhaps the first time what it was like to be a strong leader and a vulnerable woman. Now, Waxtall woman listens for the voices of her sisters who are learning the lessons of walking their talk. With compassion, she waits for some to slow down and for others to let go of their fears and take the actions needed to take charge of their lives. Her heart remains open and her spirit is now filled with the tender mercy she learned and earned through the painful lessons of her own passage. Through example, the only conquest she teaches is the conquest of the shadow self. Like Quetzal, she beckons her sisters to express the freedom of who they are and to follow their heart's desires, discovering those hard dreams through the strength they find in retreat. Waxtall woman whispers to women everywhere that the nurturance and support of the sisterhood and the Earth Mother are available to any woman who is willing to honor her right to be by making the commitment to herself. The end. So, wow, such a powerful message for this 11th moon cycle that usually falls in November. And yeah, the pink rose quartz of self-love reminds us to be. Just be. You are enough. And it's so needed, so necessary. It's for us to go within and hear that still voice and to find ourselves and to care for ourselves compassionately. And it reminds me of an affirmation, I think it was by Louise Hay. I approve and accept myself. I approve of and accept myself as I am. I am enough. I am love. So, happy new moon in Scorpio, right? And 11th moon cycle. I'm just gonna sound the bell again. Wishing you many blessings. Till next time. Bye for now.